Morning. Just move that camera for a little bit. Fluorescent light, or yeah, fluorescent lights. Yeah, I think they're about fluorescent, so LEDs. Got the phone too far back. It flickers. Oh, yeah, it's not terribly warm out there. Been a few snow warnings. Anyway, there's quite a lot of wind coming from the south. They're saying on some of the roads a bit further over in the Southland area, or where I am, they snow on some of the back roads and stuff like that. They use quite a lot, so there's a few snow warnings around there and bits and pieces. But anyway, so left off yesterday that had rough cut out these bits of timber for the doors, and I'd worked out that if I clamp this down, I've taken some measurements. I was going to bring another piece of paper and write stuff down, but I think what I've got will do. I bought a handsaw. Whether it's the right sort of handsaw, I don't know. It's just one that Dad had at home, and it's nice and fresh and new. The blades are pretty sharp, and it hasn't been used, a whole heap for horrible jobs. So it should be nice and sharp. So it should cut fairly straight and all that sort of thing. So my next mission is to go and remake this piece first. So I'm going to measure on here. I think I'll just have to try and transfer this across as many points of this across onto the other thing I can to try and get these angles right. Also use the this to help transfer the right angles for that, from when this piece of wood sits flat on the table, and then I can transfer it on the other piece and try and get all these angles and everything right. So, because none of these here are being cut square to the bottom, if you know what I mean. They're all different angles, and so it doesn't make it very easy to cut. Because if it was a nice square piece of wood and that was cut, and that's probably what happened. I don't know whether they were cut before or after they were shaped, but this one here definitely is not flat and square. This is a completely different angle. So it doesn't make it easy to try and replicate. But I think with a little bit of patience and time and just measuring and a few things like that, because see, look, these sleeves isn't even straight, the flat at the bottom of that's pointing up, and yeah, so it doesn't make it very easy. But anyway, especially for first time trying to work it out and get it right, without a lot of extra timber around. But yeah, we'll try. What I might. So yeah, I'll get into it, start measuring a few bits and pieces, try and mark it out in the wood as much as I possibly can, and then gently go through with the handsaw and cut it. And if I mark every side of it and where I've got to stop, then I can make sure that I'm in that line and keep going. Oh yeah, right, so, freaking messages. Alrighty, we'll get to it. You don't really need to turn that off, do I? Well, I'll work it out and I'll draw it out and I'll come back to you, otherwise we just as footage. Right, I try and explain myself what I just marked out. Basically I've just marked to cut the ends off first. Hopefully you can hear me over top of this weather. So basically what I do is down in here, I set this angle gauge in here, and that's what it's set to. I just set it down in here, push this up against here so it was nice and flat against this edge. So then I could transfer it onto, obviously, whatever end it needed to be. I transfer these marks onto here, like obviously in the right distances. So at least then I can cut these pieces here off at the right angle. So I did the same for this end, set it up, that's been chewed off, but I just try to use the best I could off this to that way. Yeah, so the transfer of that angle, and then obviously wind it up with this edge that I drew on here when I set this on top. Cut that through there, and then obviously down through here. So when I cut this off, I'm going to have to make sure I match up with all these lines. Probably not quite so critical out here a little bit, but as long as I'm really close here and the angles follows right, so at least these pieces are the right. We can dress it up a little bit when we do final trimming and shaping, but as long as it's really close. And then we can start working out these pieces, top and bottom, to try and get it right. So I'll cut these pieces off. I'll see if I can nick these off in the bandsaw. What I'll do is I'll just make sure when I come up against there, I'm against that. I think these are really fairly square. Yeah, it's pretty square, so I should be able to come through and then just trace that angle, and hopefully it nicks off pretty close there, but it's not going to matter as long as it's reasonably good right here and in this middle section here. We should be pretty reasonable. So I'll whip those bits off, and then I'll finish laying out this bit, and then we can cut these tongue pieces off, and then hopefully fit it in there. So I'll get to that. Whew. Man, it is not warm out here. Let's give you a wee view outside. She's nice. Oh, I'll just close that door, I think. Oh, there's no heat in here. But anyway, we'll trim these off. So the next piece I've marked out, I've tried to trace using that angle finder again and holding the piece of wood flat and sitting the angle finder down in that other piece and marking all these, working out all these angles for obviously whether this is parallel, you know, like what I mean, like straight up and down, or whether it's cocked, you know, whatever. So I've gone through and marked all these angles and tried to work it all out. And I've sat the other piece of wood at the other end of it and try to see whether it looks like it's, you know, about the right angle. So I'm thinking I'm pretty close. So I'm going to have a wee look and just see whether I can, if I butt this up against the bandsaw and just run the blade up beside it like I did before, and just see whether that is close. If it is close to vertical, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'll just run it, you know, run the bandsaw just up against it, you know, a 1/16 of an inch out or whatever like that, just to see whether it's going to be parallel. And if it's really close, then I'll just run it up here, and obviously just even run it up a little bit, double check it, make sure we're heading in the right ballpark, because obviously these will never cut square, and just see. Otherwise, I'll just cut it by hand. So yeah, I'll go do a wee test and then I'll come back. All right. So I've just run that in there a little bit. It looks like it might be close to parallel. It might be quite. But it looks like it's a little bit wider than it is at the top and the bottom. So I might just run it anyway. And if there's a little bit left, I can shade that off with a sander or something. But yeah, we'll get it right and close, and then I'll check the other side and I'll run up to this, obviously up to that line, and then I'll come in and gently cut it off. So I'll come back here. Alright, so I've cut that. It's going to need just a little dialing in a couple of wee spots, but it's pretty close. I managed to get it to cut nicely. So yeah, get this other end, finish marking up, and then I'll cut that, and then we'll see if it'll fit in the hole. If not, yeah. So yeah, I just done a test with the bandsaw. So these are miles away. I'm better off to try and cut this by hand. And here, miles away. So I'll just put it in the vise, clamp it, check my lines both ways, and I'll just slowly saw my way through. If it takes me, you know, a minute, it won't take me a minute, but if, you know, if it took me a minute to go down here and I've got it pretty much dead on, you know, that's better than spending another hour making the whole piece. And then obviously down here, I'm going to just take the time, make sure I'm hitting the mark, or really, really close to it, and yeah, it's all that matters. Let's just say we're getting closer. It's sort of fitting, but it's getting to the part way and then it's too tight, so I've got to get a bit rougher. Oh, I don't know if I can win, to be honest. Just screwing that in by hand. Great fucking screw off. Right. There. Freaking dumb. But anyway. So I'll carry on. Hopefully I can just, I don't know, get the chisel and just bust this corner out or something like that, so I can hopefully get a pair of vice grips on something in here and just screw it out later on or something, I don't know. Righty, so I've marked out this end. Just trying to work out exactly where everything goes. So again, I'll test, do a quick test on the bandsaw just to see whether it'll take this middle section out, and if it'll cut straight along that piece, like if it is, you know, nice and straight. I'll try it, otherwise you'll just have to try and do it by hand. It's going to be fun trying to clean out down here, but I think if I can do it with the bandsaw, I might be able to just come in beside each other and just slowly cut it down to the end, try and get rid of the rest of it and just file it out hopefully. But we'll see how we get on. So that worked fairly well. So I've just got to try and get that shit out of there now. So I might need a really fine chisel. Right? I know the old man's got one at home. I might be able to do that after lunch. I might take this with me. Actually, I know what the measurement of the cross that is, so I'll just see if he's got I know he's got a few little fine chisels. I'll just chisel the worst of that out. Cool. Sweet. Almost there. Well, not really. Anyway, we'll do some more. I'll mark this end out and chop this off. And like I said, I won't worry about trimming all this sort of shit off yet, because you really need to try and fit it together and then obviously work out a few extra little bits and pieces, but we'll get it close and then we can start doing the final shape on each piece, but as long as we can get all the joints together. We'll keep going. Morning guys. I was going to come back yesterday, but it was so freaking cold. I just stayed at home just had a semi-lazy day for a day, because it's really shit. I was getting really, really cold. I I had sort of enough clothes on, but I really needed another layer on top. And by the time I sort of stayed home had lunch, I was like, oh, it's so nice and warm here. So I didn't really get back here. And I only really sort of get back here for about an hour, which can make a difference, but that's all good. Anyway, I've got a selection of chisels and stuff here. All with the different bits and pieces. That's a curved one. I just grabbed a few dads. I've got some other ones here as well. Whole bit different, just different widths. Different, most of these are all straight. Just chisels, different widths. I think it's probably a couple here the same width. And I grabbed Dad's little pincers for pulling out some of those nails and stuff out of those other pieces of wood, just in case it's upsetting things. So I'll just get in and I'll trim out what I was going to do yesterday before I didn't come back, and just carrying on basically. So I'll get into it. Sort of aimed up there somewhere. That'll do. Thick yet. Shave down a little bit. Just going to fit the other end, okay? Yeah, just need to thin this down a little bit. Right, so I've done that, and now I'll knock it out with the rest out with the chisel and just clean it up. We'll test fit that and see if that goes together. Once I've got all these pieces so they fit together, then I will start the final shaping. But yeah, we'll test fit this and yeah, go from there. I'll bring you back when I've got it together. Wish me luck to get this broken screw out. Hopefully this works. Friggin' thing broke off the other day. So you can even weld your way out of wood. Friggin' thing. Sweet though, because now I can change that around and when I need to. Broken screw and wood, welded out. Awesome. That's a first. Alright. Back to where I was. Which I'm not quite sure. So I might swap this piece for the original piece and just test things, just in case I need to do any tweaks, or if it shows up that this doesn't fit 100%. Anyway, okay. Right, I've actually decided to try and trim this down a little bit further, closer to what the shape should be. So I'll just run the bandsaw along and just get it a bit closer into where it should be, along here, and then obviously this back edge, and just whip that off. I've marked all the sides, so I won't go right in. I'll get us quite close, but not right in. This one here will be fairly close, but I'll just have to double check as I'm going, just make sure that I'm not cutting in here on here, if you know what I mean. It'll be awkward, but yeah, I'll just go quietly and just see what happens. Because I know roughly where I need to be. I'll just double check as I'm going, because it is tapered. I may have to take some of it off the planer or something like that, or sander. But yeah, I'll just see. I'll see if I can get it a bit closer. The other thing I did, just get it straight, I used this to help transfer the shapes across from the old piece when I had this on the new piece, to try and line up with where it should be, and just to try to transfer the measurements from the right side of the object, if you know what I mean, instead of just sitting on top, which is what I've partly done. But then I used that profile tool just to double check and make sure that where these lined up with the other pieces of wood, it did transfer across nicely. So yeah, we'll start trimming. Alright, so I just trimmed that down fairly close. You can still see the pin mark in most places. We've got it within the ballpark now. It'll be hand shaping from here on, if you know what I mean. So I'll test fit this again, and then we'll move on to making another bit, or I might even trim down that other piece, get it a bit closer fitting. Quick shot, so that's pretty close now. Obviously, a bit of trimming to go, and that's about as close as I'm going to get without getting into nitty gritty, and obviously a lot of extra shaping and bits and pieces to make it fit the door hinges, and that's close enough now that I can start finishing other pieces, and then once I've got it at this level, I'll screw it together, and obviously work out these pieces, get that trimmed out, and then obviously test fit it to the door, and then we can do final shaping. So yeah, I'll carry on. It's probably going to take me a couple of days to get this door finished, but we'll get it. If I can get, like, I've got the 3 pieces rough cut out, well, all 4 pieces rough cut to that point. 1, 2 almost basically sort of semi-finished. That one's rough cut to bolt on or screw in. So now I can trim this one to be more like whatever one is that I've done. That one. I can make it as close as I can to that one now. And yeah, and then I'll start making one of these other pieces. That's going to be the worst one to make. It's that back edge where it comes against the body. It's making it with this fitting this piece so it goes, you know, so this extra piece, that's where that piece of wood is, to fit in amongst all that. But the beauty is it doesn't have to be dead perfect because the steel will hide it. As long as I can get it really close, I'll do the best I can to get it as close as possible without obviously not having the tools that they use to shape that back piece. But I'll get it pretty close. Now by the time I've gone over it with sander and some sandpaper and whatever, and it'll be pretty nice. Yeah, even if when I get it all screwed together, I can even run over it with the DA and get the whole thing shredded quite nicely shaped and all sorts of things. Sanding block, plane, whatever. We'll get it close. I'm actually pretty wrapped how it's coming out, but we'll carry on. Get this next one close. More Christmas presents. Wonder what's in here. Shall we open it and have a look? Right, so I got this English wheel sort of half-ply set up at the moment. We've got it together and sort of ready to go, but it really needs to be, I don't know, probably sort of 18 inches, maybe 2 foot higher. That's probably about my, the wheel is probably, you know, sort of a bit above my belly button, you know, a couple inches above my belly button. So it really needs to be probably a good couple of feet higher, I guess. So you're looking at the wheel, or, you know, say when you sort of, you know, sort of open-legged and you sort of crouch down a little bit, you can sort of see what you're doing. So yeah, sort of 2 feet, 18 inches high type sort of thing. So yeah.
I do in the meantime. Last would be bloody nice. Thick good. Sweet. That's sort of what the shape's meant to be. This piece is really fairly close. But probably it's not quite so critical. I can just run underneath the sand, the DA, whatever. Get this a bit closer when it's final shaping. It needs a little bit more off the back here and stuff like that, but get rid of the worst of, like, still that pin marking down a little bit below. So it's close enough in the meantime. Because this does have to, like, has this piece screwed on it and all sort of stuff, so a little bit of sniggling around, but getting there. So it's probably still a bit thick yet. But, yeah, probably quite a bit too thick yet. So much to the clip measure up, it might need to come down a bit more. Yeah. little steps at a time. I'll, get these bits cut out. Just down here. I've nipped these off close-ish. So I'll see if it'll run down here fairly straight and we'll trim these bits out. Come back here. Alrighty then. Transfer a few marks then, Cuss. You know where he's brewed? We'll paint that in the vise there, Cuss. And we'll get the pen out and we'll draw some lines on here. And see if we can make it look like it's something close. Close to what? Oh, close to what it's meant to be. Alrighty then. We'll draw some lines on it. Draw some lines. Oh, even match up with what's there. Oh, it's even better. Oh, that. Even that does too. Oh, it's too much brew. Oh, so that actually needs to be done there. More brew. Trim it off there, brew. Oh, sweet brew. Too much brew. Right. So I'm guessing, dairy brew. Oh, hold on. What are we doing? What day is it today? Oh, this way. Oh, I thought I was lost. Oh, shush. Alright. What's happening? Oh, he's gone mad. Dad. Baghdad? No. Right. Yeah. So you've got to shake this down here like that. So pretty much from there to there, and just a little bit. We'll allow a little bit extra, just for a start brew. So I'll just hold my my marking stick ruler thingy on here, and we'll just go down there like that. And we'll call that sweet as Cuss. Yeah, brew. No worries. Oh, that's pretty good. Right, let's just work out what's going on here. Apart from it's, I don't know, one of those days in the week. Geez, you talk some shit. Well, no, brew. I don't even know what I'm doing now, apart from getting hot. I don't know why I'm getting hot. It's not that warm, but must have too many bloody clothes on or something. Right. What am I doing here? I don't know. I might transfer some, I don't know, something onto here. See if I can just get a rough idea of what shape this is. Well, it's kind of a squarey, rectangle-y, curvy thing, brew. Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Oh, move. Jeez, brew. So if I just make a couple of those around it. Oh, come on, move. Stupid thing. Right. Yeah, something like that, brew. Move that nicely up to that edge. Oh. Yeah. Just cut three around the corner. Right, in theory, this here, just to try and give you a bit of an idea what I'm doing, because you can't bloody see. Just got this on here, that gives me a bit of a guide. So I know, in theory, if I put this on here, or something like that, oh, it's not going to work. I need to do it this way. Oh, wouldn't you tell me that? Jeez. Man, it's hard to get good help around here. Oh, start with the bloody person operating it, I think. Stuff at the top. Right, we'll see if we can get anywhere this time. Oh shit. Oh, look at that. We'll try something like that. Just trying to get a rough ballpark here. Ballpark. Right. And don't worry, next week, children, Uncle Billy will give you a license on how to drive one of these. Oh, true. Oh, look at that. Oh, something around there. So I think it's going to take a week to figure it out himself. Should be right, Bree. Go like that a bit. Put that on there. Something like that. Something like that. Kinda something like that. That'll do. Blue. Right. Now if I, I'm guessing it's kind of straight, but it's not. Down that back edge, looks pretty average. Especially in there, it's all broken away. Looks like a horse's ass. But anyway, brew. So you're gonna plan, hold on. Got a plan. Gonna put this on the back. Just hold a little bit of tension on it. Hold it straight against there, kinda. And we'll just draw a line. Oh yeah, that'll work. We'll call that Uncle Billy's special measuring stick. Oh yeah, we'll do the same here like that. Just put a little bit of tension on it. Yeah, that's pretty close to what I was drew before, so that'll do. Right, now we'll turn it up that other way, and we'll do the same in the other direction. Put it, do something like that. Cramp it in the vise. Cramp, oh. Right, we'll lift it up so you can see what I'm doing, or what I'm waffling about, you know. Do you know Uncle Billy? Oh, it's a shame he's not around anymore. Uncle Billy T. James. He was a comedian in New Zealand quite a long time ago. He died at about 92. 1992, he wasn't 92 years old. He's actually pretty young, younger than me now, I reckon. Man, he was a funny guy. He was a Maori fella and used to take the piss out of everybody, including the Maoris. It was pretty cool entertainment. It was, it was always pretty clean entertainment too. But yeah, awesome fella. I was just trying to just sound like him, because he was always funny. And he'd go, and next week we'll show you how to get our license, but you've already taken the car. It was always good for a laugh back in the 80s and 70s, or late 70s, 80s, and 90s when he was still alive. But so look him up, Billy T. James. He's a little bit on YouTube. He's also in a movie called Come a Hot Friday, which was a New Zealand movie way back in the early mid-80s. He played this crazy Maori fellow that lived in the bush. Pretty funny back in the day. Right, where are we at, Brew? I don't know. Out there somewhere. So, what I think I'll do, hold on. Turn it back the bloody right way for a start. Right. Push. It took me in trouble. I'll do a quick measurement from here to here, just so I know roughly how thick that's meant to be, which is probably not far off what that's meant to be before I went. That's probably not a bad idea as go. And then we'll figure out the rest of it. What do you reckon? Yeah, Boo? What up? Oh, shush. Oh, stop coming, screw. The screw keeps coming loose, Boo. Oh, stop it. Oh man, I don't want to break this piece. Stop coming loose. I'm not looking forward to this last piece. That's not going to be fun to make.
So, what I've done is actually, just to make it a little bit easier to keep the this piece right, is the piece I cut off here, I lay this back on top of it, up the other way, and drew around it. Now I'll just cut it out. Now I can lie this here, so it's a bit easier to mark out, because I can't turn that up the other way and line along there because it's the wrong way around. So I'll just lay that on there, like that. If I draw around that, now we're cool. I know exactly what size that is. Oh. So that pretty much lines up with that anyway, so it's cool. That lines up with that. That pretty much lines up with that second mark I made on the end, on the taper. That one's spot on there too, so I just got to work out what I'm going to do here to cut that off. I guess I'll just run down this edge first with the thing, and I'll just have to plane it off. And same down here. Just work out whatever one's closest to this edge. Probably really just run it along that one. Yeah, I'll just check that to make sure it's reasonably square up here and not going to cut too much in one way or the other. Just run down this edge, double check all that, and then set it against the other one, and shave this off. Sweet, I'll be back. Planed quite a bit off this. So we're holding side by side. You can see we're close to what it should be. It's probably still a little bit bigger, but not by a lot. So now we can probably piece these 3 pieces together that I made with the back edge, and yeah, to see how that all fits together and take some measurements. Obviously, clamp it down to the table and we'll check a few things, and then yeah, I guess that's almost maybe cut the hinge reliefs or something like that, and see how we can probably use the back part just to see how it's fitting in the hole, maybe. But yeah, might do that, put it together, and yeah, just have a wee measure up for just to see what it's looking like, and then just start possibly just setting up for the hinge reliefs. So just a quick test fit. Slips in the hole now because I trimmed quite a wee bit off here. Basically, I stuck it all together. Just took some quick measurements, run a line down there, and I just basically trimmed a whole lot off with it all sort of together, pieced together, and I just sort of trimmed it back. So it's not 100% yet, but it's even closer now. So it does actually sit in the hole. I might just quickly show you that. So it does actually sit in there within reason. So it does sit in there, even though it can't go up against the hinges or anything. But yeah, we are in the hole, as it says. Here we go, wide angle. So yeah, we're in the ballpark. Obviously, you just got to do some trimming around the hinges and clearancing, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we're getting closer and closer and closer every step. So yeah. I could possibly leave that back edge there. I'll remake it though, because it has got a little bit of bore in it, that original one. But yeah, still obviously some fitting and some shaping, but we're getting close. Yeah, and then we can obviously maybe remake the skin and all that sort of stuff. But I'm out of here. We'll possibly see, I think, in the next video for tomorrow. So yeah, we'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all that sorts of things. Teespring and buy me a coffee if you can, or if you wish to. Another thing too is I might do a shout out video shortly, but I'm just going to give a shout out to the one channel at the moment. Is Hombre Garage. Just a fairly new channel. They've just come out just recently. Well, maybe it might have been around sort of 2 or 3 months sort of type thing. Got some really cool content. Well, 3 guys. I'm not sure if they're all brothers or not. I have to go back and watch there's some of the videos. It's a bit hard to pick out who they are because every time you see them, they change their names. But yeah, they're quite humorous. But yeah, go check them out. Iron Horse Garage. They comment most of my videos and all sorts of stuff, so just go look down in the comment section. You should find them somewhere. But I'll put a link in there as well. But yeah, awesome channel. Only got a handful of videos, but content's good so far. I think the first few videos they've done was a Volkswagen Beetle, but they've got a lot of other stuff coming up. So yeah, that'll do for today. Hopefully next few days we'll have that English wheel all set up properly, and hopefully by that stage I should have this door fitted and screwed in, and the frame all in there. Once I'm really happy with how it's fitting, I'll pull it apart and I'll actually glue it together as well as screw it, just so it doesn't move and creak and whatever. And then I will get a couple of small bits of sheet metal, and I'll practice making that top piece of the skin, where the swage, so that sort of swage pieces, this piece. I'll practice making this. See if I can remember how to do all that. I actually spent about five to 6 years running a big massive folder. It was like 7 meters long, which is a fair way. It's more than the width of this bay. It was huge, big, massive, wide folder. It was mainly used for making roofing products, but I used to make all sorts of other stuff on it as well. So yeah, I did that, run that way back in the early 2000s. I run that up until about 2006, I think, or 7, around that sort of time frame, and then I started doing a lot of tyre stuff and truck stuff and bits and pieces like that. But yeah, I did that from early 2000s, like 2001, I think. It was about 5 or 6 years. I did the roofing and sheet metal stuff. I didn't go out and do it on site. I made a lot of stuff, all in a big factory. Run iron and made spoutings, and did a lot of sort of flashing and folding stuff. But we did a lot of little side projects and bits and pieces, making all sorts of funny things. So yeah, I'll see if I can remember how to get that to make that without screwing up too many times. So I'll just have a practice on like a short piece for a start off. I'll just cut a couple of small squares off that new stuff, and I'll just have a play with that and work out how to fold that, because I'll probably have to run it through the English wheel first, just to get that gentle curve both ways, and then I'll fold this edge up, and obviously the other pieces. But yeah, I should be able to basically copy that almost exactly. But yeah, I'll do some final measurements and just work out if I need to make it just slightly bigger or slightly smaller or whatever. Just allow me a little bit more so I can fold the edges over, and try and remember how much extra material to leave when you fold an edge. It's been a while, but yeah, it'll come back to me. But anyway, we'll catch you later, because I've been waffling, and I'll try and get this video up and so you guys can watch it. Catch you later. Cheers.